I like to make stuff for people for Christmas sometimes. And Christmas is coming up, and I haven't made anything yet. I've been seeing some like fake paintings of like a dog head on a wearing Renaissance garb. They're pretty cute and pretty funny, I must admit. My parents have a dog who's pretty great. Its name is Stella, so I think I'm gonna try making a painting of one of those. Do I have high expectations that this is gonna work out really well? No, I don't. But it could be fun. We have to find a picture of Stella, find a picture of something to put the face on, and then put them together. So yeah, let's see what happens. You can find some really nice, like high resolution pictures here on the Google Arts and Culture, and I think I ended up searching Renaissance Queen. I scrolled through some stuff and kind of found one that I wanted to put Stella's body on. Here's the one I went with, Sofonizba. I don't know how to say that properly, but yeah. After going through a bunch, this was the one that I thought would work the best. It turns out it's really detailed, which is going to take a lot of time, but it looks pretty cool. So here I'm just deleting the background and like deleting her face, putting Stella's head on there. Just kind of basic stuff. And then I try to get like the size and the positioning right for the final product. This is just going to be the source image of what I'm looking at when I'm painting. And then I try to get the colors a little bit more true to what the actual painting looked like. So there we go. That's about right. So now I have a source image and I start the painting, and I start with kind of just laying out some landmarks, just sketching things in. It's nice because then you don't lay a bunch of stuff down and realize that something's in the wrong position and have to redo a whole lot. So this is mostly just to get proportions. You'll see I move the eyes up here because it was off. The nose is definitely too low, but I fix that a little bit later on. And then I start putting all the colors in, and the idea is to move from like all the darker shades and then work your way to the midtones and then the lights without going back and doing a whole lot of detail. But I fail that miserably. As you'll see, I end up doing kind of the whole right side of the face in a lot of detail before I even finish the left side. And then I wanted to do the eyes earlier on because I wanted to make sure that I could kind of make it actually look like Stella. A lot of times people will take their canvas and kind of paint a a medium value across the whole thing because it's easier to see the lights and darks. The contrast is a little bit weird when you're on a white canvas. So at first when I put those eyes down, it looked really really dark, but then when you kind of paint the all the surrounding stuff, it doesn't look as, I don't know, there's like less contrast that way. So anyway, I put in way too much detail early on here, but it did kind of just tell me that I could get the likeness of, the subject, so that it was okay to proceed with the rest of the painting. Otherwise, I would maybe have to just start over. I moved the nose up just a little bit. It's still probably a little too low, but whatever. So when I'm finishing the left side of the face, it'll be a little bit easier when I have kind of a darker value for the background here. It kind of changes the way you see everything, but I think it makes it a little bit easier to not have a white background. I was working on this over the course of several days, so a lot of these are like me sitting for maybe an hour and a half at a time and then coming back when some of the areas are dry now, or somewhat dry. So I just tried to finish up the whole face before moving on to the body. And that way also it dried a little bit so I could put my, I don't know, my palm down on the canvas a little bit instead of holding my hand back a couple inches. So here I'm moving on, and I'm just going to do the whole, like all of the red, and then come back and do the detail afterwards, which again I had to leave for a couple days to let dry before going over it. Oil paints are kind of a blessing and a curse in that regard. It takes a long time for them to dry, but you can use that to your advantage. Like you can come back a day later and still kind of push stuff around a little bit. But if you want to add layers on top, you have to wait for a few days to go back and do that. So I'm just trying to fill the entire canvas with paint at this point and not leave any gaps. And then this is where I start kind of adding detail. So most of the painting has dried for a couple days now, so I can go back and add layers on top. And this is just using a small brush and going back and taking way too much time filling in like little dots and lines. Was kind of difficult because you can actually see, you know, over on that right sleeve there, some of the parts where it's all yellow, I have to change the yellow based on the shading. So it is a little more complicated than just laying everything down in one color. So that's about it. There's the finished product next to the source image that I used. Definitely could have done better on the proportions, at least in the head. I think the body turned out okay. The colors weren't perfect, but overall, I like it. And I'm gonna put it in like this big, gaudy gold detailed frame once it's all dried out. So thanks for watching.